All I ever wanted was a black grand national. Fuck being rational. Give them what they asked for. Hey, it's not enough. Few solid paws left, but it's not enough. Few bitches that will really step, but it's not enough. Say you bigger than myself, but it's not enough. Hey, yo, welcome back to another episode of the Arts Block Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Curry the Third, and today, all I can really do is sigh. I can just sigh. This has been a long 2 days. This has probably been the longest 2 days in my life. Y'all know my recording schedule is Monday and Friday. I upload Wednesday and Sunday. That's my schedule. I try to stick to that schedule as much as I can. However, y'all outside trying to play with me. Y'all trying to play with my sleep schedule. Y'all trying to play with my pod schedule. Y'all outside playing. But it's fine though. Because guess what? We're here. We're here today to enjoy this moment. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. If this is your first time listening, welcome. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you can be notified every time I post a pod. That's on YouTube. If you are listening on your favorite podcast platform, please give me a 5-star and a review. You can just say that this is the greatest podcast you have ever heard in your life, and that will suffice. All right, so boom. Let's jump straight into it. We really don't have no time because it's a lot that happened, right? So hottest thing in the news, not only did Drake sue UMG one time, but he sued UMG twice. He put out 2 lawsuits on UMG. Actually, let me take that back, because the first one isn't a lawsuit. It's like the thing before the lawsuit that tells people, hey, we might do a lawsuit on you, and this is the evidence that we have. That's what happened. The second one, that's a suit. that's a suit if I've ever seen one. All right, so boom, let's jump into it. Let's just jump straight into the first one, right? Let's not even go into the second one. So the first lawsuit, Drake claims UMG, Universal Music, and Spotify artificially inflated Kendrick Lamar's numbers for Not Like Us diss track. Now, I see a lot of people out there saying that, oh my goodness, he did this because of the diss track. He sued because of the diss track. This lawsuit really doesn't have anything to do with the diss track, believe it or not. Now, the diss track just so happens to be against Drake, and this is just the perfect timing for him to do this. But this is really aimed towards UMG and what they've been doing, because UMG hasn't just done this for Not Like Us. UMG has done this for Drake Records for sure. I can guarantee it. UMG has done it for any of the biggest artists signed under UMG. They have done this for. They have done Payola. They have done all of these things. I can almost stamp it, right? I'm allegedly. I'm gonna say, hey, this whole conversation is alleged, but I am confident enough to say that yes, they have done these things, just because. It's just what happens, right? This is just things that happen. But so when people be like, oh man, Not Like Us made that boy go through a lawsuit, I think he would have did this either way. I think Not Like Us just so happens to be the thing that set off his, hey, you know what? We can file for the suit now because it makes sense in his mind. Now, I'm going to give my opinions on the lawsuit after I get done basically explaining just like a couple key points that I want everybody to understand and highlight. I read through the whole court documents. I have the court documents pulled up right here. I'll be reading from the court documents during this whole time. If you don't like these type of pods, there is going to be real old school journalism pod type ordeal. If you don't like these type of pods, feel free to tune in on Sunday. Feel free to go to Sunday's pod, tune in during that one. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some good music that drops this weekend, and we're going to be able to talk about it, all the great things, right? However, this pod, we're going to look at documents. We're going to be doing a lot of reading. We're going to be doing a lot of explanations. We're going to be doing a lot of that before we get to the opinion pieces. All right. Everybody's in their respective places. Great. So I want to start off with a couple points, right? And I'm not going to read this whole document. If you want to read the whole thing, do it on your own time. But it's about, how many points is on here? There are 36 different points on here. There's 36 points. I'm only going to speak on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm only going to speak on 8 out of the 36 points. It's a lot. This is 17 pages that I've read. I read all 17 pages last night. Well, I read some of the 17 pages last night. I read like 10 pages last night, then 7 pages this morning. And I feel like I have a pretty decent understanding on all of this. Again, I can be wrong on a lot of this, on what a lot of these things mean, because I don't understand legal jargon. I barely understand music jargon. So so again, like a lot of this is just go phew phew phew. You got to remember, I'm just a guy who likes music with a podcast. That's it. I haven't worked with no labels. I don't have no big artist cosigns. I'm just a guy who enjoys the art of rap, the art of R&B, the art of art in general, and has a podcast. That's it. That's all. That's really all that goes into it. All right. So I want to start off with point number 3. I'm only going to pick out the most interesting points to me and the points that matter to me. Everything in here matters, but these are just to me what matters, right? So Spotify and UMG have a long-standing symbiotic business relationship. As one of Spotify's earliest supporters, UMG entered a multi-year global license agreement with Spotify in 2020. UMG and Spotify collaborate on strategic marketing campaigns and products, and in 2024 announced an expansion of their strategic partnership, which I can't read. Let me take that back. UMG and Spotify collaborated on strategic marketing campaigns and products, and in 2024 announced an expansion of their strategic partnership through which Spotify will amplify music discovery and social interactions and enhance fan experiences across the platform for UMG's family and artists and songwriters. Based on UMG's financial reporting, Spotify paid UMG around $2.28 billion. Let me say that again. Spotify paid UMG. So the streaming platform paid the label, or the big boss label, $2.28 billion in 2023, which amounted to 19% of UMG's total revenues in 2023. So this is why this is interesting to me, right? Because in one of my classes, we was learning about the movie industry, and we was learning about how back in the day, movies. I equate this to like the movie production companies wanting to own the theaters, right? Or having a piece of the theaters, right? And back in the day, it used to be that. It used to be the movie production companies. They will send their movie to their theaters that they own, and the movies get pushed like that, and all the money circulates back to them, right? However, some law that was made told movie production companies that they can't do that. The movie production companies cannot own the movie production company. And so Warner Bros can't own Warner Bros and have Warner Bros movie theaters. They can't do the same thing. They can't own both. With this though, it is explicitly saying that UMG and Spotify, UMG is one of Spotify's earliest supporters, and entered a multi-year global license agreement with Spotify in 2020. So that's a personal licensing agreement. That's a one-on-one licensing agreement. Now, when it comes to, hold on, let me get my thoughts together, because there's a lot happening right now. When it comes to like the movie industry, right? Now, movie industries, they have licensing agreements for different movies that they have. So they will negotiate a movie. They're not negotiate the product. So say the Warner Bros, Warner Discovery, the movie people, right? Or say Disney's movie people talks to AMC about, hey, I want to put the new Moana movie in your AMC buildings. This is the split that we're going to have from you having the movie and us, making the movie. Every ticket sales, this is going to be the split that we have. This is how long the show is going to run in theaters. This is how long the show times are going to be. This is how many times you're going to play my movie each day. They have to agree on those certain things, right? Per movie. This is a guaranteed deal with one distributor, with one streaming platform, that UMG has. Now, in any other business, I think Rory said something like this along the lines of this, or probably the same thing as this in the video. And y'all are going to see the video because I'm going to add the video in here. In other businesses, this is not allowed. This isn't allowed in other businesses. This isn't a business practice that you can participate in. However, in the music business, apparently, this is something that you can do. So I'm saying this to say that this, when I read this, this is a basis of like, in my mind, like, okay, Drake has a case. And and again, at the end of all this, I may explain what all of this means and all of that stuff, right? So then we're going to move on to point number 5. Point number 5 says in 2024, UMG did not rely on chance or even ordinary business practice to break through the noise on Spotify and likely other music platforms. It instead launched a campaign to manipulate and saturate the streaming services and airways with the song, Not Like Us, in order to make the song go viral, including using bots and pay-to-play agreements. Now, pay-to-play agreements is payola, right? Payola is basically paying somebody to play a record. So, hey, if I have enough money to pay you, a DJ, or to pay a streaming platform, or to pay whoever, a streamer, a content creator, to use my song, then hey, I'm going to do that so my song can constantly get plays and to get saturated in all the airways, right? The reason why this is wrong is because if my dad had to explain this to me yesterday, if you don't have money, you can't pay. Like, if you don't have money, your record's not going to get spun. So if I had a record and it's a banging record, but I don't have the money to do payola as much as a record like Not Like Us has, that has like a whole company behind it, then my record isn't going to get paid. My record could be better than Not Like Us, but my record's not going to get played because I don't have enough money to pay people to play my record, right? That's wrong. That's illegal. You're not supposed to be doing that. So the fact that Drake and his team is so headstrong on this statement, right? Like, this is the 5th point in the thing. So this means like this is point number 5 that they made. And they're really headstrong about this, and we're going to see throughout the rest of the things how headstrong they are about this. But I want to mention something, right? I believe Not Like Us was always going to be Not Like Us. Not Like Us was always going to be that record post beef. Was I surprised at how fast Not Like Us became that record? Yes. And with the drop of Kendrick's new album, am I surprised that no other song from that album is catching on as quickly as a Not Like Us catched on? Extremely surprised. Based on how much Not Like Us caught on so quick. Like, you gotta think. Like, hold on. It says it in the court documents. Hold on. So Not Like Us had 30 million streams on Spotify its first day of release. The first day of release, it had 30 million streams on Spotify. I think the song right now is close to 900 million streams. It's about to hit 1 billion streams on Spotify. Probably the fastest song to ever hit 1 billion streams, right? So, what are we gonna do? What can we do? I mean, hey, I think the song was always gonna be that, just because it's a good record. But at the time, I thought, hey, all of this is happening oddly quick. It's happening very fast and very quick. But nobody else was saying anything, and I didn't want to come off as a Kendrick hater, because I'm not a Kendrick hater. I love all artists. I love all art. But at the same time, I have to call a spade a spade. And I was like, yo, no other song. Kendrick has Grammys. Kendrick has huge records. Kendrick has a whole bunch of different awards. He has a Pulitzer. Like, Kendrick is acclaimed, but no other dot song ever has reached close to these heights ever. Something was fishy about that. To me. I just didn't say anything. I just kept my mouth shut. But moving on to point number 7, this is very interesting. Point number 7 states on information and belief, UMG charged Spotify's licensing rate 30% lower than its usual licensing rate for Not Like Us in exchange for Spotify affirmatively recommending songs to users who are searching for other unrelated songs and artists. Neither UMG nor Spotify disclosed that Spotify had received compensation of any kind in exchange for recommending the song. On information and belief, Spotify pays UMG licensing fee through wires or mail. What the fuck does that mean? What the fuck does that mean? Basically, what this means is that if Apple, again, my dad had to explain this to me too because I didn't know what it means. So basically, what this means is if Spotify usually, or if if UMG usually charges Spotify $1 million to license a song. If it costs $1 million for Spotify to license a song, right? And by licensing the song, I mean like commercials, ads, any of that, right? Instagram posts, any of that, right? So if usually it takes Spotify to like $1 million to license a song, they lowered the licensing 30% to $700,000 to make it so that now it can be saturated more. So now Spotify can like flood the streaming platforms more. Like, hey, we're going to lessen our rate that we usually give you, and we're going to, and just so you can saturate this song and put it on everywhere, right? And also, it says something in here about Apple and how Apple, here it goes. I found it. UMG appears to have similar tactics with other streaming services. On information and belief, UMG paid or approved payments to Apple Inc. to have voice-activated device assistant Siri purposely misdirect users to Not Like Us. Online sources reported when users asked Siri to play the album Certified Lover Boy by recording artist Aubrey Drake Graham, Siri instead played Not Like Us, which contains the lyrics Certified Pedophile, an allegation against Drake. Again, do I believe that this is a thing that happens in the music industry? Yes, I do. I believe that all of these, I believe that everything that is being said so far has actually happened, and has actually happened for Drake as well. That's why he knows. I think that's a part of the reason why he's suing. Like, hey, you guys used to do this for me, and it was cool when y'all was. It's cool when I did it. It's a problem when y'all do it though. like he did the reverse of it. It's cool. It's cool when they do it. It's a problem when I do it. No, it's cool when I do it, nigga. It's a problem when they do it. Like, let me benefit from all of the mess and all of the stuff that y'all got going on. Don't give it to them. Point number 8. UMG directly or through Interscope also conspired and paid currently unknown parties to use bots to artificially inflate the spread of Not Like Us and deceive consumers into believing the song was more popular than it was in reality. Bots are software programs designed to mimic human behavior and to appear to be real social media accounts. One individual unknown to a petitioner revealed publicly on a popular podcast that Mr. Kendrick Lamar, Duckworth's label, i.e. Interscope, pay him via third parties to use bots to achieve 30 million Hey, read. Nah, telling myself to read is saying read like that is nah, that was crazy. One individual unknown to petitioner revealed publicly on a popular podcast that Kendrick Lamar, Duckworth's label, i.e. Interscope, paid him via third parties to use bots to achieve 30 million streams on Spotify's first day of release of Not Like Us, with the goal of jumpstarting the song's spread and turning it into a crazy hit on the platform. Then it goes on to say that Interscope sent him a $2,500 payment for Zelle, and then it sent him another $2,500 with a percentage of the song's total sales for this initial push. All right, when this is another part that I wanted to speak on, right? When you all go online when you all go online and y'all post parties and y'all say, "Oh, I'm at the club, I'm at this festival," you can't fake the Not Like Us hype because everybody's playing it. This is nothing that you can't. Hey, certified lover boy, certified pedophile, wop 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 wop. You can't fake that. You can't. You're absolutely right. You can't fake that. Nobody is underestimating that people actually like this song. That isn't nobody's argument. Nobody's argument is that, oh, people don't like Not Like Us. That's not what people are saying. People are saying that the numbers are skewed are fixed a little bit on Not Like Us because the record is bigger than what people what think it is. Not saying the record isn't a good record. They're saying that the numbers are fixed. For example, Not Like Us right now is at over 900 million streams. Of course, a lot of those streams are real. Of course, there are. It only makes sense. Like it doesn't make sense. 900 million streams, and we're saying all the streams are bot streams. That's not what anybody is saying. That doesn't even make remotely sense. Because when you go outside and you hear Not Like Us, nigga, I play Not Like Us. I play Not Like Us all the time. I played it on the radio show. I played it in the car. I played it everywhere. I played it at parties, at functions. I've played it all the time. So I'm not saying that people don't like the song or people don't rock with the song, but I'm saying 30 million streams first day on Spotify is crazy, especially when it released on YouTube first. When it dropped on Instagram or Twitter or wherever and it was on YouTube before it was on streaming, yeah, that's crazy that you have 30 million streams on Spotify the first day. That's insane. That's crazy to me that you have 30 million streams first day on Spotify. Again, not saying that this is a good song and not saying that this is a song that everybody in the world loves, but 30 million streams first day is you had a little push. You had a little push. And again, this is not taking nothing away from Kendrick as an artist, as a person, because I know how y'all get. I know how y'all get about Dot. Trust me, I love it. I love him too. If y'all look at my Blue Sky account, I've been defending, and I've been on that side. But at the same time, I do have to play both sides of the field, and I do have to call a spade a spade. And when something looks iffy, it looks iffy. That hey, I don't know if these numbers are real. But also, I want to speak on the bot thing, right? And how bots are kind of ruining music for us. Bots, when it comes to people and how they view music now, they view music with the numbers. So they're like, hey, if this album or this artist didn't sell X amount first week, then this album is weak. Then this isn't a good album. This isn't a good project, which isn't true. Numbers don't equate to how well a project is. However, I think bots and labels inflating numbers on purpose to make some artists seem bigger than what they really are, I think that's a huge reason behind why now in today's culture of music, people look at music and be like, hey, such and such, that album's trash because it didn't sell 150,000, 200,000 first week. I think that's a wrong way of listening to music, but hey, what do I know? I'm just a guy with a podcast. Point number 11. UMG exchanged a similar pay-to-play scheme in their... Oh, this is what we need to pay attention to right here. UMG engaged in a similar pay-to-play scheme to increase the airplay of Not Like Us on the radio. Petitioner had obtained information from a third party indicating that at least one UMG employee made payments to an independent radio promoter serving as an intermediary. Did I say that right? Intermediary? I think I said that right. Intermediary. I think I said that right. Did I say that right? Serving as an intermediary. I don't know. Why doesn't that feel right? I feel like I'm saying it right, but it don't feel right. I hope y'all know all the reading mistakes and stuff. I'm keeping all that in. I just for y'all to know. This is an honest pod. This is a honest podcast. If this is your first time watching, I am very honest on here. So y'all are going to see the good, the bad, and the ugly. But yeah. serving as a let me start over. UMG engaged in similar pay to play schemes to increase the airplay of Not Like Us on the radio. Petitioner had obtained information from third party indicating that at least one UMG employee made payments to an independent radio promoter serving as intermediary, who has agreed to transfer those payments to certain radio stations and or radio station employees. Again, the pay to play thing is bad because if I can't the pay to play thing is bad because if I can't afford to pay the radio stations or the radio station employees to play my record, then my record isn't going to get played. Simple as that. The radio station subsequently played or caused to be played Not Like Us without disclosing that they have been paid to do so. This practice, known as payola, is prohibited by the Communications Act of 1934 and has been subject to regulatory scrutiny by a number of executive agencies. Here's the kicker, though. In 2006, UMG agreed to pay $12 million in a settlement with the New York Attorney General, following an investigation involving accusations that UMG executives had used a broad array of pay-for-play tactics to secure radio airplay for music. In connection with UMG's settlement, the New York Attorney General Elliot Spitzer explained consumers have the right to not be misled about consumers have the right not to be misled about the way in which the music they hear on the radio is selected. He continued to say that pay for play makes a mockery of claims that only the best and most popular music is broadcast, which is right. Which is basically why he's right. There's no way you can say that Not Like Us is the best song out and you're paying people to play the record. There's no way. It takes the listen, when you don't have to pay people if your record's the best. People will just see that your record's the best. And again, if this is true, we have to sit there and think, why would UMG choose this Kendrick record specifically, the diss to Drake, to pay and push when Kendrick has plenty of other records that haven't been pushed this hard or this much? We'll get to that later. Point number 12. Don't worry, we got three more. We got a couple more points left, guys. We're almost done. While historically payola has been thought of in terms of paying radio stations to play songs, in February 2020, the Federal Trade Commission released guidance stating that by paying an influencer to pretend that their endorsement or review is untainted by a financial relationship is illegal payola. On information and belief, UMG employed a similar scheme by paying social media influencers to promote and endorse the song and video. That's not good. That's very not good, especially for the influencing community and for the people like YouTubers. That's not good. Not for them in general, but just for the way music is going and how they are kind of the new, I don't want to say new face of music, but a lot of music goes through the new wave of streamers and influencers and podcasters. That's a lot of the ways new music gets released and a lot of the new music gets heard. Like people going on Kai's stream and then they releasing like a single or something later. Like that's a lot of the way. And then they used an example of NFR podcast. NFR is a famous podcast on YouTube and on Twitter. They have over 600,000 combined followers on both Twitter and on YouTube, and they basically said that they were paid to promote Not Like Us. Not saying any. They were paid to promote Not Like Us and to tell the world that Not Like Us broke through and it's the fastest rap song to reach however much. Right? They said that they paid them for that type of publicity, which again, I don't think that record labels have done this. This is one of the things that I don't think record labels have done this. I think they've done this in different ways. I think that they've paid streamers, like labels have paid streamers in like a way of promotion, like promoting an album or project or whatever, pay a streamer so an artist can get on stream or whatever. I don't think though that they've paid streamers to do pay to play. But if they have, in my opinion, that's very innovative. And hey, like that's very innovative if they did do that. But again, there's no real concrete evidence on none of this. This is all just speculation, and this isn't really a lawsuit. This is like the pre-lawsuit thing. All right, now we're going to skip all the way down from point 12 to point 17. Point 17 states UMG schemes to artificially inflate the popularity of Not Like Us were motivated at least in part to desire executives at Interscope to maximize their own profits. Now, basically, what does this mean? Basically, what this means is that every label in all labels, right, has incentives. Like how most jobs have incentives and bonuses. If you reach this amount of whatever, you get a bonus for this, right? Same way for record labels in this, that, and the third. So in here, it basically says, for example, the annual incentive for a bonus of Interscope CEO John Janik is based 90% on financial success of Interscope and only 10% of the financial success of UMG generally. So basically, Kendrick is signed to Interscope. If Not Like Us is the song of the year for Interscope, then that 90% bonus or that 90% incentive that the CEO of Interscope gets, skyrockets because not UMG's, Interscope's financial success will be will be off the charts. Off the charts. And if Interscope's financial success is off the charts, you'll see a spike. Probably not a big spike, but a spike in UMG's financial success. It all trickles down to each other. And then point 18, the last point that I want to leave off on, is petitioner has received information that UMG has been taking steps in an apparent effort to conceal its schemes, including, but not limited to, by terminating employees associated with or perceived to having loyalty to Drake. Indeed, UMG has demonstrated that it has no interest in taking responsibility for its misconduct. Over the past several months, Drake has repeatedly sought to engage UMG in discussions to resolve the ongoing harm he has suffered as a result of UMG's actions. UMG refused to engage in negotiations and insisted that UMG is not responsible for its own actions. Instead, UMG has pointed the finger to Mr. Duckworth, Kendrick Lamar, insisted that Drake should initiate legal action against Mr. Duckworth rather than UMG, and even threatened to bring its own legal claims against Mr. Duckworth if Drake were to pursue claims against UMG. All right. That's that with that lawsuit. That lawsuit number one is done. How do I feel about this? I feel like this is I'm gonna keep my language very PG, or I'm gonna try my best to. I think that this is not a good move for Drake. I don't think that this is smart timing for Drake. I don't think that this is very strategic for Drake. But on the flip side, I do think that this was going to happen anyway because Drake wants to get out of his deal. I think that Drake, when the beef started, Drake was in negotiations to get out of his deal with Kendrick. And when all of the beef stuff happened, while Drake was in negotiations, Not Like Us ended up taking off, and UMG ended up doing full throttle on Not Like Us to diminish Drake so Drake could stay in his deal for as much time as possible. I do think that happened. And that's happening, and that's why all of this is going on. However, that doesn't mean I have to like it. that doesn't mean I have to like it, and I don't like it. Honestly, I think that this is really childish. All honestly, and I think that he's not playing the game right. I think that there's ways to play the game, and he's not playing it right because there's ways to play the game, and the culture still mess with you, and the culture still rock with you. Bro, you're in a space right now where the culture isn't rocking with you, and then you're going to file a lawsuit, and that lawsuit looks like you're suing Kendrick over the diss record. Like, it doesn't, like, none of this looks good. Even if people take their time to read the court files or whatever, no matter what, it still looks like, oh, Drake is suing Kendrick over this diss record. Drake is suing UMG over this diss record. That's how it looks, no matter what. So even though I explained this whole thing and explained that none of this really has anything to do with Kendrick, it really has to do with UMG as a staff record label and as a crew, it still looks like this has all things to do with Kendrick, especially this next lawsuit that we're going to talk about, which Drake is suing UMG again for alleged defamation of character over Kendrick Lamar's Fall song. Now, this one he could win. This one, I see him winning. And if he doesn't win this, I see him having a big payday, or like I see him getting away with this. I'm seeing him this case getting, this is going to be a good case for Drake, because it's easy to prove that, like, hey, you have to prove that I'm a pedophile. You have to prove that I'm a pedophile. You have to prove that I'm a sex offender. You have to prove all of these things. And if you can't prove all of these things, then why did you allow this song? Why did you allow this song speaking bad on me to be released out to the public? And again, he's not suing Kendrick because Kendrick's the artist. Kendrick don't know no better. Like Kendrick's the artist. So he's not suing Kendrick because Kendrick's the artist. He knows how this works. But he will sue UMG because UMG has to approve the song. And if UMG listens to the song, approve the song with all of the things in the song being false, and knowing that what that song could do for his reputation and his name, then UMG is in the wrong. So that case, I do think that he can win, but also, again, and at this point, I don't really think Drake cares about the look. I don't think Drake really cares about how this will look to the culture. I don't think Drake really cares about how this will look to us, but I do. This looks crazy. Nigga, you put out 2 lawsuits in 2 days. You put out 2 lawsuits in 2 days? 2 lawsuits in a week to the same company? Brother, you gotta chill. Brother, you gotta chill. This is, and again, I'm not going to sit up here and tell Drake, oh, you just got to take your L, bro, because I think this is bigger than a diss record, and I think this is bigger than Drake just taking an L. I think this is way bigger than Drake just taking an L for a diss record. This is way more than that. However, this is what it looks like. It looks like, hey, you are mad that you lost this battle, and you're trying to find every way possible to scrummage up some type of courage for yourself, right? To prove like, oh, you see, UMG used payola to screw the Not Like Us record, and oh my God, oh, see, this is defamation. This isn't true about me. So it's false, and I really won because I said true things, X, Y, and Z. You went up and down making statements about Kendrick beating his wife, and not one time did Kendrick ever come out and be like, that's false. That's not true. He's lying. We're going to sue him. We're going to sue him. Not once did Kendrick say that. You think Jay-Z sued Nas for saying that he was taking karate classes at 30 years old? You think Jay-Z sued for that? Come on now. I'm like, this isn't hip hop. This isn't hip hop, and I'm making this known right now that this isn't hip hop. This whole lawsuit stuff, and bro, we don't do that in hip hop. I'm saying we, like I'm that's not hip hop. That's not hip hop. That's not what that is. And I'm not about to sit up here and stand with you. And I want you guys to separate 2 things real quick, right? Because it's going to sound like I'm agreeing with Drake in his choices. I'm not. Me understanding why you do something and me agreeing why you do something are 2 different things. I understand completely why Drake is suing UMG. I get it. I understand. You want to get out of your deal. They've used this song to kind of manipulate you and stand in your deal. Everything that you wanted to do in terms of the 100 gigs thing and releasing music, they have been stopping you from doing that. You try to do it on your own. UMG is not allowing you. You want to leave so you can do things your way, how you want to do, and do the damage control in your way, right? That's all. I get it. Those are all the things. However, I don't think culturally this isn't the way that for you to do it. And even if you do win the cases, at what cost? At what cost does these wins happen? At what cost? And at the same time, we have to know that the machine always wins. So there's no way that you think that you're going to get over this and the machine is not going to keep moving and going as it normally does. In the file I just read, it said in 2006, UMG had to do with the same thing and settle for $12 million with the New York Attorney General. So what makes you think that UMG doesn't have precautions just in case this happens again? Just in case somebody like you feels froggy, wants to leap, and they have precautions to cover their tracks that they have laid. What makes you think that? However, I do think that there's more that Drake and his camp and his lawyer team, I do think that they know more. I do think that there is more to this that isn't out officially yet. I do think that there is concrete evidence, but do I like that this is happening? No. Do I support this? No. And Drake, I really love you as an artist. You have some of my favorite albums. You have some of the classic hip hop bops to me. However, this is very not like us. This is very not like us. Like, this is furthermore proven Dot's point. This is very not like us. This isn't a good look. And I can't and you stated, you was on stream with XQC and you said that rap is in a weird place. You said rap is in a really weird place right now. It's not, though. Rap music is in a great place, actually. Rap music is in a fantastic place. Cole dropped an amazing project this year. Kendrick had an amazing year this year and topped it off with an amazing project. Tyler dropped an amazing project. Soul dropped an amazing project. Q dropped an amazing project. Doechii dropped an amazing project. Lotto dropped a good project. Megan dropped a good project. Glorilla dropped an amazing project. There's a lot of people who dropped this year that did amazing. Sexy Red dropped a pretty good project. There's a lot of people that rap music is in a good place, and rap music isn't weird. Nigga, you're weird. You're the reason you think rap music isn't in a good place because you're not the one running rap music right now, and you're not being used to being in this position. So now you're thinking, oh, rap music is weird. No, nigga, rap music isn't weird. You're weird. It's you. You're the problem in this equation. And I hope you know, no matter what these lawsuits say, no matter if they do go to court, if they settle, if whatever happens, just know the court of public opinion has already picked its side. And it's not yours. And whatever happens after these lawsuits or whatever happens after that, hey, that's on you. You have to now pay the cost of whatever happens when you mess with the machine. Again, the machine never loses. The job will always remain the job. It's your job to either find where you fit in or be quiet. You know all of this information, but don't go around telling all of the information. It's your job to do one or the other. To get in where you fit in, be oblivious to everything, or once you find out everything, be quiet. I ain't gonna tell nobody because I ain't gonna mess it up. Now you out here, and I'm not gonna say your career is gonna be ruined because you're Drake, and I'm not gonna say you're gonna be blackballed from the industry or blacklisted from the industry or whatever because you're Drake. But at the same time, how much can Drake be Drake when UMG is UMG? You feel me? Drake can only be Drake. UMG is UMG. The label is the label no matter what. So we're going to see how this plays out. I will keep you updated on how this plays out. Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of the Art Spot Podcast. There's no dead or alive today. We are just going to sit in all of this information that I've given you. This is a lot. This is a lot of information. Also, actually, Eric, remind yourself to put that Rory video in there when you're talking about the 30% splits, right? So yeah, Thank y'all so much for tuning into another episode of our Spot Podcast. And my computer's about to die, so I have to end this. My name has been Eric Curry III. You can follow me on Instagram at Eric Curry III. That's ERICCURRYIII. You can follow the podcast at our Spot Podcast. If you're listening on your favorite podcast platform, please give me a 5-star in the review. If you are listening on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you can be notified every time we post a podcast. If you like what you heard, like what you seen, make sure you tell a friend, tell an auntie about the Art Spot Podcast. Remember that artists never die. I love you. God loves you. Do something every day that you love. Do it with meaning. Do it with purpose. Do it with passion. And yeah, I'm gonna see y'all boys when I see y'all boys. Drake.